how's Kelly Collins doing?
She sounds good.
Yeah?
I think she's a little bored.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine she is.
Yeah.
I mean, she was always on the go.
Yeah. Yeah, almost like she doesn't know what to do with herself. She said she was gonna sign up for some painting classes. And
Well, that's good for her, might help her relax.
Yep.
I just pushed the on button.
30 seconds early.
Well, it takes a while for this thing to kick in.
Hit it. It is now 4:30. I'm going to call the Albany Selectmen meeting to order for November 20th, 2024. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business, approval of selectmen's meeting minutes for November 5th. Move to approve the November 5th minutes as presented.
Second?
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Approval of November 20th, 2024 consent file. Review and sign. Manifest and the amount. Mr. Chair? Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion to remove that vending cart permit application out and do that separately from the consent file. I will second that. That okay with you, Jim?
Yep.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And, okay. Review and sign manifest amount of $14,202.03 and $7,316.26. This includes an accounts payable and payroll manifest for 11/13/2024 and 11/19/2024. Review and discuss chapters for the Emergency Operations Plan, the EOP, for 2024 update. Reviewed and discussed? I move to approve the consent file as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Town administrator's report.
Nope.
Oh, you want to go back up to
We
C?
gotta do C.
Okay. Review, discuss, and approve or deny a vending cart vehicle permit for 2659 NH Route 16. This appears to be a request for significant expansion of this business, i.e. multiple food trucks on multiple occasions. Perhaps this should be referred to the Board of Commissioners, the Planning Board. I am so far in agreement with that statement. We can discuss it. I'd make a motion to deny the approval of these vending cart vehicle permits for 2659 Hampshire Route 16. Any discussion? I'll
Need a
second that
second.
for discussion.
Okay. Yeah, my reason for it is I did look up the vendor ordinance. And first off, the applications are not completely filled out. B, we can only allow these vending cart permits to the individual vendors only, not to property owners. And it's site specific. So these are gonna need some work, and I have a copy of the vendor ordinance here. It's also a different use of the property from the antique sales that they've done in the past, and it may have to go through planning board for site plan review, as it was stated in our agenda. And for all those reasons, I would deny it, and
So one permit just says various local food vendors. It doesn't say who the food vendors are or anything like that.
And the ordinance, it says it's vendor specific and site specific.
Yes.
So if a vendor wanted to do 3 different sites on Route 16, for instance, they'd need 3 different permits, according to our ordinance. And there is a 6-month
Window.
duration. Permit shall specify starting and ending dates, and the maximum duration shall not exceed 6 months. So we can't do an annual one. So for a lot of reasons, these applications need more work.
So would we recommend redoing the applications or going straight to the planning board and get?
I think it's a change of use, and I don't think we can make that decision. That's a planning board decision. And I would think that they should, make
Change
it
of use from what to what though?
a,
It's commercial now.
right. They're basically going from an antique shop to having vendors sitting in the yard selling food and whatever. I would imagine that constitutes a change of use, or additional use.
So how would it work if someone was having a function and they wanted to have a,
Well, if it was a one-time thing, the vendors could all get their permits. And I don't think we have any jurisdiction over that.
yeah, I don't think.
At all.
That's, it's kind of.
Unless they become a traffic hazard, and then it would be up to either state police or the sheriff's department to deal with it. I mean, with all the trouble that we're having with accidents and whatnot on Route 16, I think we need to be relatively careful how we handle some of these things. And not to make anybody, anything more difficult for people, but, we're responsible for life safety too.
You're gonna say?
Kelly Collins had made a point, if she fills the parking lot with food vendors, where will people park in
The road.
16, right?
He's got,
And the
Sounds good, don't
applications, the applications don't tell us anything about any of that type of stuff, so I think they need some more review and some more work, and for that reason, I think, and I think, when you notify them, maybe send them the copies of the ordinance, as well as maybe the state. I don't know what the state requires either, and I would imagine they should.
I think, according to the drawing, I think the intent is to have 2 trucks. Food and food on either end. But we never know, there's nothing saying that's it.
Right,
You're right, there's no specifics to, yes, there'll only be 2 at a time, and
right.
the parking will be this, and, yeah. There's
Well,
definitely-
also, I went by there today going to Ossipee, and coming northbound, you're coming out of a left-hand curve into that area. Are we gonna have a potential accident problem with people turning in and turning out of there? I mean, I don't know.
So what would the planning board do?
Well, they would
they ask?
They would determine whether it's a significant change of use. If this has never had a site plan review with new owners, and you're trying to increase the usage of the property, they may require a site plan review. I mean, a site plan review isn't the end of the
Yeah,
world.
no, okay.
I mean,
If nothing else, we'll get more information
exactly.
to them,
Right.
or from them.
Yep.
I will second the denial and recommend him contacting the planning board. Yeah?
Now, I mean, if they were gonna have just a vending truck there on a Saturday at noontime or something like that. I mean, I think a vendor's permit to that vending truck, put in place in there. I think that would be,
food trucks.
well, that's the big thing. You know what I mean? And over here, they're referencing a particular food vendor, and there's no additional information. Even the food vendor that it's under the name of didn't even sign the thing.
This is that's him, I believe. No, it's not, he's not the landowner.
No, the landowner is the one that brought in the applications.
Okay.
You know, and
So
someone needs to
actually-
also read this ordinance and make sure they're following it.
Yeah.
And I think, just for the town's purposes, that ordinance should go up on the website at some point.
Yeah, we don't know what that's going to create.
Yeah, no, it needs more work. I mean, it's, you know, we'll work with them.
You're gonna get a learning. Okay, we have motion and I seconded that.
Yep.
All in favor, I say aye.
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 Now we can do the town administrator's report.
Just review and discuss any changes to the 2025 budget. I don't really have a ton of changes to it. I had emailed Curtis to see if he could come to the next meeting. I haven't heard back yet.
I know he plans on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then Sandy is planning on it as well, and also CCS is going to come and pitch their budget
Who's CCS?
and estimates. The computer company.
Oh, okay.
You said so. I had presented you guys with their estimates and budget, and you wanted them
Oh,
to
that was
come in and
those
present.
multiple sheets that we had
Mhm.
that didn't make sense to us?
Yes.
That we signed anyway? Yeah, so.
That's December 4th.
Yes.
And don't forget, we got a CIP meeting after all of that.
Yes, you do. I didn't sign up for that.
You know, it might be worthwhile contacting Sean and see if he can't stretch that out another half hour.
I'm certain I do that.
Or have it before the meeting. It shouldn't take long.
Okay. The old business. Boy, we got appointments. We're gonna be, of course, we're early, and Representative McConkey's running late, but we'll start without him when the rest of the people show up. We'll continue on to old business. I just wanted to bring up the email that we got from North Country Council. It's great news. We were approved at highest concern in the region for the Route 113-16 intersection.
TAC is
Transportation Advisory Committee,
Right.
who works
That's
with
part
North
of
Country
it.
Council.
It's
North
part
Country
of, or
Council-
they work
North
together?
Country Council does the money part of it,
Yep.
pretty much, and TAC does the logistics and comes up with the ideas,
Okay.
presents them to North Country Council, and they get together. But on TAC, there's people from various towns that this gets approved by, and we were approved
Right.
very high on the list. So that is a huge check mark for us.
Still doesn't mean we got any money.
No.
We got the money man coming tonight, so you're gonna take care of that for us.
And will we see the plans at some point?
We saw the plans, but this is how I understand it. We had to put an application in for the project, which we did. With plans that HEB drew up, because we got a grant for that,
Right.
so there was no charge for that. Now the state will look at the plans, and they'll go, we're gonna do this, that, and this differently.
Right.
So just like with this project out here, we're supposed to be widening the road and putting rubble strips. Now we're getting a full-blown
Right.
overhaul. So the idea is that we're on the radar, we've been approved, now the two between us and North Country Council and the state DOT, they'll come up with their conceptual plan of what they think should happen. And we'll talk to Jason, who's coming tonight from DOT. From what I understand is, we're gonna fix that intersection up, because it's a safety concern, we can't just leave it. And then in the interim, we'll devise our 10-year plan for what's gonna be the ultimate solution. That's what I'm hearing, don't quote me on it, but we should get better information tonight. There's a lot of talk right now, that's what's going on, there's a lot of talk, so no decisions have been made, except that we are priority in this region. So,
As far as North Country Council.
as far
tax concerned.
yes.
Not as far as state's concerned, but as far as.
Right, but the state really pays attention to what these regional things do, so. Rick might not think so.
Not in my experience.
But we're different,
Okay.
we're different.
Well, at least we have some people on our side.
Yes, we do. I think that things are aligning, and they're aligning in our favor, and we gotta seize the moment, that's what my
A
intention is.
10-year plan is a 10-year plan. Are we in the first year or the 10th year?
Yeah.
Or
the 15th
in the
year.
third year, do they redefine the 10-year plan, put other people in between and push it out 15 years?
Oh,
Know
yeah.
what this is?
No, I mean, that's what they do.
Right?
You
That's
know,
politics.
and most of the money that they get for this 10-year plan comes from the federal government. And old Elon Musk is gonna have probably a say about how much of that,
Oh, boy.
whether they run out of red ink and
You're
have to go to
forgetting that
ink.
everything's okay now. Everything's okay.
Smooth sailing.
There we go. There we go.
Power of positive thinking.
That's right. Keep it positive.
Economics
Keep your
101.
half-empty glass over there, because we're gonna get some stuff done. And it may not turn out to be what we want in the end, but safety is the concern, and safety. And while we're on the subject, we had these petitions out at voting day. And for the people that saw it, a lot of people walked right by, but whoever saw it, I've noticed, stopped, read, and signed. So there was a lot of interest on a petition for the prohibition of engine brakes. We got 110 signatures. And for the lowering of the speed limit to 45 miles per hour on Route 16, we got 124 signatures.
That's a good
number.
It is.
Yes, and from what and people I talked to and watching people, there really was no hesitation of people wondering whether it was a good idea. They were all on board. This whole was to let people know that it's on our radar, and now they see that we're thinking about it and we're gonna work towards it. So this is gonna come in handy, and I'm gonna keep it in my back pocket for when it comes time to push for that project and get it under 10 years.
Put
9
those,
years,
put those back
9
out
years,
at
6 months.
town meeting time.
Well, I'm leaving them out there all the time.
I'd leave them out
When they
there,
do
but
registrations and things.
announce it at town meeting.
Town meeting, we're gonna talk about it, but we're gonna talk about that tonight too. Public meeting for the road project, and when we can do that. The thought process is before Christmas. I know it's a busy time, but we're not gonna be involved in it, it's gonna be their show. All we're gonna get involved in is helping to get the word. So we have a better showing than last time. But again, when Jason gets here, we'll get him with that. I mentioned to him, he was on vacation last week, I mentioned that we were having this meeting tonight. The next thing I knew, he said, I'll be up, I'm gonna bring someone with me, and we're gonna have a conversation about it. He was very happy to see we had, some people gonna be in the room, they're gonna be important for him and for us. So, we're just gonna get Mark off his bus and get in here. Yes, sir.
Could we go back to the town administrator's report and the 2025 budget? I went through the budget, okay, at great length. There's a lot of pieces missing in it. It's nowhere near complete, and we need to spend some serious time on that coming up.
When, ideally, should we have that budget set?
yesterday.
That's, all right.
Well,
What's the worst case?
my-
Ideally is we don't have to do it.
My concern is we've got a new person in the town administrator's office. It's gonna take some time entering this into the DRA portal.
Yeah.
And we need to give her sufficient time to put in a completed budget. And I really don't think it would be a good idea to, go down to the last minute. I'm just,
But this isn't an end of the year deadline, it's a town meeting deadline.
it is, but certain things have to be done right after the first of the year. And normally we have budgets worked on and completed usually by the end of December. They're in, like a 95% form type of thing.
Well, I'm not against having
So-
a work session meeting, if
You
that
know,
helps us.
If, a meeting that we can just get that done,
I'd rather have a meeting
that's,
just for that than to try
I
to
mean,
fix
there's a
it
few
into the
things
regular
in
meeting.
here that, even we can't decide right at this point.
Have we got anything?
We haven't got anything
Curtis
for our
Curtis
insurance.
will be here the next meeting.
Next
yet?
meeting,
Okay, so
Sandy
you know that
Jones.
is, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and Sandy will be here next meeting.
We've got insurance
And the
quotes
computer people.
Good.
from Primex and whatnot that still need to be gotten. You got the association bill I saw,
Yeah.
in that folder, which was 1205 or something like
Yeah.
that.
So we don't have a concrete list of what we need to finish it yet, right? We need to
Well,
figure
there's,
that
there's
out.
blanks, if you take a look at the thing, there's blanks. That's stuff that isn't
Right. Yeah. This one.
resolved. And there's some of it we can't do tonight type of thing. But we need to establish a list of what we need to get and give that to Alyssa so that she can work on getting those totals. There's line items here that I have questions on, that we're gonna need answers from people.
You wanna?
And I'm just saying, we need to stop kicking the can down the road.
I don't think we kicked it, we just started talking about it. We're not kicking it now, at least until another meeting, we can't do it tonight.
Right, well, no, I know, but I'm just saying, I'm just trying to.
Well, do you wanna add a meeting? Or do you wanna wait to see Curtis and Sandy and get there, or do you wanna talk before we see them? If there's any questions we have, we can be prepared for it, which we should.
I think Curtis is pretty straightforward, we just need him to look at the numbers from last year's budget and see if he's gonna adjust them up or down,
And he's planning on doing that at the next meeting.
Right. you know?
What's it, November, December?
December 4th.
The other thing is if we could call a special meeting, have them come into that meeting and we'll deal with them first off and then go through the rest of the budget.
Could do that. Would you rather do it next week? Or we'll do it.
Well, next week, we're going into Thanksgiving week, right?
Yeah.
So it's a short week, unless you wanna do it on a, Monday or Tuesday type of thing. But certainly right after that. Maybe do Curtis and Sandy at the December 5th meeting, and then let's schedule a meeting right after
Go
that.
into it.
And, while it's fresh in our minds.
Okay.
And get it done.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, so we'll lighten up the agenda for that week, Elisa,
Okay.
as much as we can.
And pick a day that's good for all of us to just come in here.
Well, we'll do it on our regular meeting, which is in 2 weeks. Can't do it next week anyway.
Well, they're doing a CIP.
Yeah, on the 4th, we got Curtis and Sandy for,
I mean, we could do theirs, because I
Yeah.
think we could go through them no problem, but if we're gonna go line by line through the budget,
So you wanna do a Tuesday or a Thursday
it's up to you.
of that same week?
I can do either.
of the week of that meeting. It
Yeah.
should be after. Curtis and Sandy, so
Let's
it
do
should
it
be
that Thursday if you can.
I mean, it could be during the day, it could be earlier, I mean, it's,
You're the only one who can do it during the day. Lucky you can do it at night. Do you got that, Elisa?
Yeah.
That's what we'll tentatively shoot for.
Thursday the 5th.
you know, and if you want some help during the day for a couple hours or so, let me know, I'll come in and work with you on some of the holes we gotta fill in.
Okay.
That way we can have at least something to discuss.
Make sure
You know
your
what I mean?
schedule's clear. If you
Okay.
got something going on, we'll take that into
Alright.
Yeah.
account too.
And do I have this as a spreadsheet?
Yes.
Hey, just,
And I emailed it to you guys. I
For
can
all us-
email it again. It's
Yeah.
way easier to read on a computer
Yeah.
screen.
for all us old people with bad eyes,
I
can
can't
you
see it.
turn it sideways and enlarge it so that we can?
So we tried.
Moves on
Oh,
to
I
the
did
page, right?
Me and Kelly had struggled with it when
I'll
we were
send
trying
you-
to print
I'll
it.
send
If
you-
you have a better way,
I'll
absolutely.
send you the file.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
because for some
'cause
reason
that's what-
on the screen you can see it loud and clear. The second you try and print
Oh, I
it,
know.
it just doesn't want to
Is it in
cooperate.
Excel or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I know how to manipulate
yeah, I can
Excel.
help you too with it, yeah.
I mean, that's what I printed out of the file
Much
she sent
better.
me.
At least give us something that I can write.
I will send you, I'm pretty sure I saved it in this
Okay.
format. I'll send it to you, and if I forget, remind me, but I'll try to remember to send it to you tonight. Unless we get out of here at midnight.
Looks like everyone's gonna be late.
I told Joe Kenny to be here at 4:30.
Must be in the same meeting as Mark.
Politicians, can't live with them, you can't live without them.
Let's move on.
Hey, one other thing, if you want to discuss it, back in D of the consent file, the emergency operations plan, I did read through that. I can't figure out what she wants us to do.
I
So
couldn't either. I just see the signature spot.
she
but it's not-
mentioned 3 places where there was a yellow marker, and one of them had to do with military, one had to do with security of some sort, and there was another one. I couldn't find it in any of the paperwork that she sent us, but I did, in that whole thing, I about an emergency shelter. I know we had talked about it, I don't know whether it was an election or whatever, about the shelter, but they've got a list of things that we need to have for a shelter if we're gonna make it an emergency shelter.
I know, I saw that pass, it's talked about that for years. It always comes down to,
I mean, you were selectman when the select board asked me to be the emergency management
Yeah.
director, and I turned it down because the town really wasn't behind it.
we will give you a badge and everything. You need to-
Oh, I know, but I don't want the responsibility, because believe it or not, as selectmen, we have a lot of responsibility in that.
I know.
And, you know, if we had a bad snowstorm or a bad storm or whatever, and we had to open this up as an emergency shelter, we got nothing for
We're not
people,
equipped.
other than electricity.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that back the last time that they asked me to do it. We got that generator as part of a grant.
Is it a have to? I love the idea of it, but is it something we
It's
get?
recommended, for sure, you know what I mean? But I was gonna say, that is in what Alyssa had sent us, and I just kinda took it out of the PDF.
When we went through this before, we decided we were gonna use Conway School as a shelter. I remember that, because the fire chief at the time was the emergency response person, and he said.
How long ago was that?
Last time I was on the board, 6 years ago, probably.
Yeah, no.
That was the idea, that, because it's,
That would be our secondary.
It's for us.
Right now, according to our OEP, the last two renditions of it, this town hall is the emergency shelter.
well, then, that gives us no choice then. We gotta do it.
I was gonna say, take a look at that and see how we wanna fund some of the stuff. Some of it would be, things that we might be able to get grants for. Some of it might be things that we need to buy. The thing is, we have no place to store this stuff. We probably initially need a cabinet of some sort that we could put off in the corner of the hall out there to put things in. I mean, we can't even give, the people a cup of soup.
Right.
Didn't we
Or a blanket.
get that generator on a grant
Yes, we did.
for that particular reason?
Yes, well, no, I was doing it at the time.
Okay.
I
So what do you
think, I
recommend?
think Kathy Golding and myself went after that particular grant.
So,
The thing is now with the air conditioning in here, that generator isn't strong enough to, run everything in this building all at the same time. So at some point, we
why does it
need,
have to run the air conditioning?
it'll shut right off.
Well, but can't it be in a separate?
I don't know how they did it.
I know.
I'm going on what Kelly Collins mentioned to me at one time, that the generator, if the air conditioning kicks in, the generator can't handle it.
Well, we should have someone evaluate that.
Who do we have on the emergency response now? Isn't there one of us, or someone in the,
The chair is the emergency
go.
management director, and we're your sidekicks.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's the way it's listed in the OEP,
okay, I'll do it.
it's, well, no, it's not, I don't mean you're the person, we're all responsible equally.
Right, but when the three of us talk, we get
But when it
nothing.
comes to the shelter, we've got a lot of things to talk about
Well,
and figure out.
Yeah, money wise, yes, but
Should-
as far as coming up with a plan, the plan
You know,
would be.
that's why we put in a warrant article to start funding a capital reserve fund that's expendable, so that in an emergency, we had some additional cash to
Right.
be able to deal with an emergency. It's one of those things, Murphy's Law, If
So-
you're ready, it won't happen. If you're not ready, it's gonna happen. So, I'm just bringing it to your attention.
Can you list this under old business so we don't lose track of it?
Sure.
And just every time we'll mention it, doesn't mean we'll act upon it, but at least it'll be not forgotten.
Well, I think we ought to consider some funding, whether it be for.
Right, and that's
for
what
the
we'll do when we have our
Capital
budget.
Reserve Fund coming up,
Yeah.
that meeting coming up on the 5th, okay? This should be
Yeah.
brought up and mentioned for that.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Let's get through this real quick.
Who's out in the hall?
Hey, Jason's out there, I know, and he brought someone. We'll be 2 more minutes. We're waiting for Mark anyway, he got hung up. Yeah, he got hung up in Concord, I guess. So he says. Planning board, nothing going on there?
Yeah, we had a good meeting, what was it, last week? About Habitat for Humanity. Thank you for being there, 'cause,
Yes.
appreciate you speaking up and,
Well- I gotta mention that tonight too, you're right. I hope I didn't speak out of turn.
no, it was great that you did, 'cause,
Everyone, I was getting actually side eye from you and from
yeah,
Chris,
number one, I didn't even know what I was looking at.
yeah.
And I had about, like you said, 10 seconds to look at it, so, I think you speaking up got us going in the right direction, because we found some things with the application that needed to be addressed.
Yes. And I think
It talked about,
it was done more properly that way.
yeah,
My
so,
byline, so, yeah.
thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But other than that, the plans look like, they
I don't
had,
think you can deny it.
Yeah.
Once they do all the little dotting of i's
yeah,
and crossing
it looked, the
t's.
plans looked like.
I looked at it, I had something come up at the last minute, but I called Curtis in the afternoon and talked with him at length on my opinion on it, and I told him the same thing.
Yeah,
I said, and the only concern I really had was the road that they're putting in isn't to town specs. And that in the actual approval of it,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a document with
Right.
any stipulations, make the owners of the property aware that they are responsible for paying for our engineer to make sure that road is built properly.
Right.
That should not be a taxpayer.
Yep, and that was
expense.
mentioned as part of
But
the.
it should be written into the
Yep.
final,
That was mentioned and requested in the writing.
yeah. There shouldn't be any argument on it or anything.
Yes.
That's the norm, but you wanna make sure. And then the other thing I picked up on, and it hasn't been discussed at all, and put it in the back of your mind to bring it up next time, is that land is all in current use.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, well, no, I know about it, because that was a piece of property I almost bought. And I had to flip a coin with my wife to purchase the one we did buy. And I'm glad we bought the one that we did. But that's in current use, and as they, for instance, if they're gonna put a road in, they have to go through the current use process, taking it out of current use.
In each lot.
Well, if they're gonna do a section of it, they can do it all at
Right.
once, or they can do it piecemeal.
Well, they.
But it's gonna cost them 10% of the fair market value of that property. Cause I had to do that on my property, cause I rearranged, current use stuff, and I
Yeah.
still had to pay it as
Yep.
well. But it hasn't been brought up. I don't think it's a planning board decision on it, but you should remind them that they have that they have to do before they do anything over
Right.
there.
Conservation Commission, nothing. Solid Waste Committee, gotta be something there.
No, we haven't had a meeting. Our next meeting is in January, so I'll keep you posted.
Take good minutes.
Under this, I could throw in, I met with 5 people last night who are part of the chapel committee.
Nice.
Okay.
They picked a chair, they picked a secretary, and we walked through the.
Who's on it?
The chapel. There's a whole lot of Druins. And Amelia is on it.
Do you know the names?
Yes. Kane Druin,
Why don't you make a motion to approve them to be on that committee,
okay,
okay? And let's vote on it here for liability reasons.
okay. So I'll make a motion
Yep,
to put the following on the chapel committee.
and probably write them down for Alyssa. Before we leave time.
Lillian Druin,
Mhm.
Kyle Druin, Cain, C-A-I-N, Druin, Tori Druin, and Amelia Torres.
They know they
Boy,
don't
she's
get paid,
getting,
right?
she's
What's that?
getting,
They know they don't get paid.
Yes. To be honest with you, they were all, when we walked through the chapel, they were really excited.
Really?
They were excited about history,
Good.
and all the neat things.
it's neat over there when you really
Yeah.
go through it.
So,
You might not give anything away.
yeah, I also think that bringing in some younger people and getting on something like a chapel committee
Yes.
fosters growing to
Yeah.
another board or something.
Great.
Yep,
So-
I'll second your motion to approve that group of people for our chapel committee,
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
before they
Very
change their mind.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep. So,
Okay. Correspondence, the letter from Charter Communication.
Just a couple.
Under that other business board reports, probably put a D section in there for the chapel committee, since it's a formed committee now. Whoops. And you can tell them, Jim, I'll help out any way I can.
Yeah.
I was involved in the
You have
last
no
one.
history in Albany, though.
Huh?
You have no history in Albany.
Yeah, like,
Druins have been here since.
I know that.
Pilgrims.
I know what's in that building.
I don't have history.
I kind of want to step away from it.
Well,
Too close to
I
it,
don't
so
want
I
to
need
be
to
fully
let
involved
them do
in
the
it, but
things.
they
Yeah.
need some information or help, I'd be happy to do it.
Okay. Sounds good.
You get all that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Just go over the names and make sure it's all spelled right and everything
Yeah.
for the record.
I got L, K, C, T, Druin, and A Torres.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'll get there. The correct spellings.
I can email you.
That's fine.
Actually, I should email you the. Should they be turning in the minutes to their meeting like any
They
other?
should keep minutes and probably turn them in.
Okay.
I don't think they have to video the meeting minutes.
No, I told them they didn't
you know,
because they weren't
that type of
excited about that. But
And they don't have to be elaborate minutes.
yeah, I'll put together minutes from last night and send you. They'll have all their names on it and everything.
Yeah. No, you do that because they're now official members of town government, which
Yeah.
they're covered under our insurance and all
Okay,
that
right,
kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Yep. Sounds good. I think one of these is for you. I'm not sure we already got it.
What is it?
It was the accident report.
So I made you one.
Oh,
What do you want?
You're sweet.
So those are for
Oh, these for someone?
the guests.
Okay.
I've got that other one for you in my office. Do you want one to follow along?
I don't need one if somebody else needs it. I don't.
I'll leave them right there. They were here. Oh yeah, I got one here. I can't look at all that. That's Kelly's.
No, when I get the packet, I usually go through the whole packet, read everything. You know what I mean? And that way I know what we gotta do when we get here. That's why I beat you to make motions.
Yes. I'm definitely behind the 8 ball this week. I usually get a chance to scan through them and wrap my head around it a little bit. Not this week.
No, and if there's something in the minutes or something, I always contacted Kelly so that before she did the final version, if she was in agreement with what I had found,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, misspellings and punctuation and stuff you can do automatically,
Sure.
but, you know, when you're doing motions, the wording in the motion is everything. And I called Alyssa the last 2 minutes and said she did a great job. And I think Kelly used to do stuff in the minutes just to see if I read them.
She would.
Don't get any ideas.
How no one was coming, I don't know, because there was a full line of traffic. It was just in between traffic, and I don't know. Whether it made a difference, I don't know. If it was on the strip, the water won't come up because it was on the wall. So, I don't know, but I hate to think it would have made a difference if it didn't happen. But we're gonna get some pushback.
Yeah, or it will be,
Yeah.
that's what they've been doing recently on also the projects. So, yeah, if it works out that we can do the same thing, great. If not, no worries.
Hey Kelly,
Yeah,
how long do you think this is gonna be?
depends when,
Well, no, the reason I say that, should we recess the meeting so that the camera isn't running the whole?
yes, I'm sorry. This is the vice chair. You didn't need me to do that.
Well, no, just recess the
No, you're right,
meeting
I'm gonna make a motion to recess the meeting, for a little bit until we have more people show up, and we will reconvene, and we will be videoed at that point.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, I was gonna